can ask Sam any questions. Looks like the first one up we have is Joe Person. So, Joe, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Hey, Sam. Good to talk to you here today. Hope you're well. Just kind of wondered two things. How this transition to Charlotte has been, any interesting stories from your first month or so in Charlotte, and then how beneficial having a guy like Christian McCaffrey in the backfield with you is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the adjustment here to Charlotte's been amazing. The people here are great. The food's great. All my teammates and coaches have been awesome in terms of, kind of showing me around the city and telling me where to go, where not to go as well. So it's been great. And then Christian's just been a great teammate. Ever since I got here, he's been amazing. So, just got to continue to, keep getting reps with him and along with everyone else, just got to keep getting reps and getting better throughout OTAs.
Christian's a unique type of cat. I mean, did you have anyone similar to him with you in New York?
Yeah. No, he's different. Like you said, I mean, he can do some, freaky things on the field and, he's fast. He can run routes. I think a similar comp to him would be Le'Veon. So I think just kind of, getting with Le'Veon before and then now being with Christian, guys who can really do it all, catch out of the backfield, even line up at a receiver position and run a route. It was nice, kind of getting to see that for the last year or so.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to the next three. Phil Orban, Will Palachik, and Darren Gant.
Hey, Sam, how has the transition been so far with the new coaching staff? And what are you trying to get out of this final phase before you have that break before training camp?
Yeah, transition's been great. I think, with that being said, I think just getting, the feel of the offense, in terms of the progressions and, just seeing the field and where I'm going to go with the ball on certain coverages, just getting the feel of it. Really the base installs down, and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to continue to work with it and continue to progress like that.
Sam, what areas do you feel like you kind of come in ahead of the game in terms of that, and also kind of how much of this is almost like a blank canvas for you?
Yeah, I think, we ran some similar stuff my rookie year, actually, in New York. So there's a little bit of terminology there that I've kind of recalled, and so it's been good. There's definitely some new things though as well. So I'm just continuing to get used to it and continuing to learn.
Sam, Coach Rule talked about you not being stationary and then wanting you to be able to move. Have you done anything differently to try to make yourself a little more comfortable in that way?
No, I think, for me, I'm just going to continue to play my game. When you get out there on the field, you just got to, you got to have a flow. You can't, necessarily think about doing something a different way. I think I just got to play my style of ball and, because that's why they brought me here, play my style of ball and make plays the way I do.
Along those lines, I mean, your style of ball, you walked into a situation 3 years ago in New York where the expectations seemed very different. There was more pressure, that kind of thing. Is it almost a relief now being on the field now without that kind of spotlight on you?
Well, I mean, it depends how you see it. I think for me, I've always kind of had high expectations for myself, first and foremost. Expectations outside of that, to be honest, besides my teammates and my coaches, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I think for me, it's about what we expect as a team, how much we expect to win. And for me, it's about completing the ball and, getting the team down the field and scoring touchdowns. That's really all I care about. And as long as we do that and I do my job, I'm all good.
Let's go to Mike Solarte and Steven Toronto, please.
Thanks, Ryan. Hey, Sam, kind of dovetailing off of that, the situation you stepped into in New York and all that pressure in the spotlight. Now that you come to Carolina, what are you trying to improve, I guess, from the mental aspect of the game? Because there's obviously a lot that you have to learn in this system and that sort of thing, and personnel, but for yourself and maybe drawing away some of that pressure because you have some other guys that can take some of that heat off of you.
Yeah, I think just being very vocal with Joe, with Coach Brady, saying, what I like, what I don't like, and me and him just having that dialogue there. And then, for me, it's just continuing to improve the things that I need to, looking back on my tape from last year and understanding where I can get better.
Hey, Sam, you kind of already talked about the pressure of New York versus the pressure of Charlotte, but I did want to ask, so Coach Rule was mentioning how, as opposed to what you were working in New York where you were more static in the pocket, he wants you to be in more of a mobile pocket. Can you describe from a quarterbacking standpoint the difference between sitting back there and just basically letting it rip versus maybe going through progressions more, being in a system where you're a little more is asked in terms of what you do both inside and outside the pocket?
Yeah, I think for me as a quarterback, it always kind of depends on the play call. I think for us right now, I'm doing just that. I'm going through progressions, understanding where I need to go with the football. And if it's not there, make a play with my feet. Kind of like I said before, I'm just going to continue what I do. And but within the offense, I'm never going to try to do anything outside of that. If I need to, I will. But, the offense and the system is really good. And, I'm going to continue to work in that system and complete footballs. And, again, if something happens, if, an edge rusher gets through or someone comes unblocked, I'm going to try to make a miss and make plays that way. But, other than that, I'm going to work within the system and play ball.
Go Jonathan Alexander, then Elena Getzenberg.
Hey, Sam. Hope you're doing well. You may have already described it, but, you talked about playing your style of ball. I was wondering if you could describe your style of ball. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think for me it's, staying within the pocket and making sure that, I go through my reads and understand that, if one's not there, being able to get to 2, 3, and 4, but also having a flow within that, you know what I mean? So, like, if something's not there or, it's looking blurry or, like I said, like an edge rusher gets through or something, to be able to, have that flow, to be able to work outside the pocket, but also, continue to keep my eyes down the field and search for an open guy.
And if I could ask one more quick question, do you have any thoughts on playing on turf versus playing on grass?
I think, it's different depending on your position. Personally, I think for a quarterback, I'm not sure if it really changes much. But I know for a lot of guys, they have certain preferences, whether they, I know receivers sometimes like to run on turf because it makes them faster. I know some of the big guys like grass because it's easier on their joints. So there's a lot of pros and cons when you look at it. But as a quarterback, I'm not sure it affects us too much.
Hey, Sam, Elena Getzenberg, Charlotte Observer. I was kind of curious, you've touched on different aspects, how you like Charlotte and the football similarities and all that, but I'm curious for you, it's a lot of change kind of all at once, moving to a new city, new system, new coaches, all that. How have you kind of dealt with all of that, and has it been fun, or how do you deal with that mentally, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, just being able to, have great teammates and great coaches that are here who have, been here for a year or two, to be able to, explain kind of where I should live or, what I should go try to eat, this weekend, just little things like that always help. And then, just having my parents out, like my parents came out and they were able to come to the Wells Fargo tournament with me, which was awesome, and kind of check out the area where I'm living. And, a couple of my buddies came out last weekend. So, I've been having a couple visitors here and there, and then obviously my teammates I've been hanging out with a lot outside the field. So it's been great, to be able to spend time in Charlotte and, just call this place home now. It's been amazing.
Are you at the point now where you kind of feel like comfortable, like all the stuff's taken care of and now you're just kind of able to focus? Like, is that okay? Yeah,
100%. I feel like, in terms of moving in, I still got some furniture on the way. All the furniture stores are running low right now because of COVID, but I've gotten all that stuff taken care of. I'm in my apartment, so right now I'm really focused on football, and so it's been great, and it really has been a seamless transition.
Guys, we got time for a couple more, so let's go to David Newton, and then we'll finish up with Joe Person.
Hey, Sam, I had got on here late, didn't realize you started early, and I hope you haven't been asked this, but what are your thoughts on opening up against the Jets? And I guess as Matt Rule said, we'll learn a lot about you in that first game just because of that.
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity. Good opportunity for this team to go out and prove ourselves against a good opponent.
But just playing them, the team that just kind of gave up on you, what's that mean to you to get that chance right away?
I mean, for me as a competitor, I'm going to go out there and compete no matter who the opponent is. So, that's kind of my mindset on it.
Sam, kind of a different one, but you mentioned about the furniture. What does that look like? Is anything kind of funky, like taking you back to college days?
Yeah, I don't have a bed frame. My bed's still on the ground, which is great. So that's been awesome. And then I have half a couch right now. So we're working on it, but hopefully those things will get here within the next couple of weeks. But again, I got everything I need, and again, I'm in no rush right now.
And thanks so much.
Is that a sectional couch?
Yep, sectional. Yep, I got half the section.
All right. Sam, thanks so much.
All right, appreciate you guys. Good to go?
Mike Solarte, you're first, so go ahead for Christian McCaffrey.
Christian, good to see you again, man. I guess the obvious question is, how are you feeling after a long off season of rehab and getting yourself back to 100%?
How's it going, Mike? Yeah, I feel good. I feel really good. I'm back to 100% and feel healthy, ready to roll.
All right, Phil, go ahead. Phil Urban.
Hey, Christian, before we get into the nitty-gritty football stuff, I had two questions for you. The concert that you're going to be playing, what's the biggest crowd that you've performed in front of before this?
That's a good question. I haven't played in front of a whole lot of crowds. The only time I did was my rookie year when I played in front of the team for my rookie song. So that's the biggest crowd I've played. No, Greg Olson's charity event at the Hardest Yard event. I played in front of a few people there, but this will be the biggest one by far.
And then if I could follow that up, just the idea of fans being back in the stadium, a sold-out Bank of America Stadium, week one, kind of going crazy. How excited does that make you?
Oh, really excited. I saw that and got chills. It just makes the game better when the fans are there, and we have some of the best fans in the world. So I know the players are so excited to have everybody there loud and ready to go.
Steven Toronto and Will Palachik.
Hey, Christian, you're going to be driving the pace car at the Coca-Cola 600 this Sunday. Can you just talk real quickly about how that came together? And I know you know a couple of drivers, so have they been goading you on about that? And by the way, for your knowledge, the track record there is 198 miles an hour. I don't know how fast you're planning on going.
Dang. I haven't got a whole lot of briefing on it. I don't know how fast I'm supposed to be going. If there is a record, I'll try to get there. Barring I don't crash it. I don't want to be the only one to do that. I've heard the pace cars never crash, so if I can get through it healthy, I'll be happy. But yeah, I'm really excited. I was very honored that they asked me to do that. Obviously, being in Charlotte and at a big race.
Christian, looking at obviously Sam, I know it's only 2 days in, but what have you noticed from him just at the start?
Well, he's very sharp, and I think that's something that's really exciting early. Obviously he's very talented. He throws a great ball, but his decision-making's been very good. And, obviously, like I just said, Sam's very talented, and he's smart. He knows where to go with the ball. He's confident. He demands the huddle. But I love how everybody's responding to his urgency, and him taking control of that huddle and receivers getting to the ball and just having a crisp, sharp sense of urgency, catching the ball, getting upfield. That's the kind of stuff that you want to see right now, just molding the team.
And just a quick follow-up, looking at obviously the kind of leadership that you bring to the table, how do you welcome him in as a leader, and how easy is it to have a guy at that position coming in his first year to becoming a leader on the team? Yeah,
you can never have enough, and especially when you have someone like that who, is such a good guy off the field, but just demands respect when he's on the field, and is just a football guy. All he wants to do is win, and that shows on how he approaches the game, how he carries himself, and I think he's the quarterback, obviously, so everything goes through him, and we're really excited about it.
All right, next we'll go to Steve Reed, followed by David Newton.
Christian, you guys didn't have much of an off season last year. How important is these OTAs, these mini camps, for you guys to develop a little bit of maybe the chemistry that kind of took longer last year because of circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's extremely important. We have such a young team. When we have so many new guys, the vets on our team are first year Carolina Panthers players, and so it's very important that we get together, we start to get to know each other and formulate that bond, but also just get reps. It's important that we're throwing with the quarterback. It's important that the defense is communicating their checks together, and having this time for us is so valuable. And it's fun too, it's just fun to be able to, be back in the locker room and be around guys and just get together and play football.
Hey, Christian, David here. Good to see you. I think the pace car has been wrecked one time. I think the governor or somebody did it once, and it'll go up to 120 miles an hour. I've done it, but you're not probably going to be allowed to. So
I don't know if I'm breaking 120.
It won't go faster. I tried. My question to you is, after Cam, they moved on from Cam. Everybody talked about you being the face of the organization. And last year, you really never got a chance to get into that with, the pandemic and with your injuries and all that. And now you're out doing so many different things between your 22 and troops, the golf tournament, the pace car, everything. What's it mean to you to have this chance now? And what's it like to get out there and be able to do all these things again?
Oh, well, I like, obviously there's players and that fans like and everything, but football's such a team game, and it always will be. It's the most team game that gets the most individual attention. I mean, running back can't score if the O lineman doesn't block, and guys, DBs don't get a lot of picks unless there's a good pass rush, and so. For me, I enjoy, doing stuff in the community because it's fun. And, I think it's our obligation to give back to the community. And, with my foundation and with all the fun stuff we have going there, it's a great way to use my platform to have a positive impact on the world. And I know a lot of my teammates do the same stuff, and a lot of our coaches do the same stuff. And so I think it's really fun to do, and it's honestly an honor. Helping out veterans is something that I take a lot of pride in, and, finding the right places and the right things to do to help. So for me, it's an honor. And, you do stuff like the pace car and like the concert to promote that stuff, and that's what makes it so fun, being in Charlotte, being around fans, getting out in the community and getting to know everybody. That's a lot of fun for me. So I enjoy that stuff.
I want to follow up too. I know you kind of teased us a little bit with that 5 jersey last week on social media. Where do you stand with that? Plans to change?
It won't be this year. We'll see. I haven't made my mind up. That's a number that means a lot to me. It's for sure, for a lot of personal reasons. But I'm sticking with 22 this year. I think it'll be a good check to change this year. So, but we'll see. I mean, you never know. Like I said, I have no yes or no answer. I have no idea. But I know this year I'm 22.
You checked on the price then?
Yeah, checked on the price.
Thanks.
Let's go ahead and go to Joe and then Elena, please.
Hey, Christian, you were with Sam out in California pretty shortly right after he was traded. What is your background with him? Did you have one? And what were your impressions from those early workouts?
Yeah, Sam and I go way back, to playing against him when I was at Stanford and he was at USC. And, I just remember always our defense talking about how good he was in college and following his career. And just every time I go out to California, there's a good group of guys who go out there and throw. And so I've had the opportunity to throw with him a few times. And he's such an easy guy to be around. He's so laid back. He's such a great person, and such a good player too. When he's out there throwing, he's calm, he's collected, but he has a great sense of urgency to him as well. And it shows on the field. And like I said, he just wants to win. And that's I think the main thing you should want in a quarterback is somebody that wants to win games and do it however he can.
Wanted to ask you too, you mentioned Greg in the hardest yard. Have you had a chance to talk to him yet about TJ? And are you all as a team going to do anything? I don't know what you might.
Yeah, I mean, this is, one of those times that's not really explainable. And I've talked to Greg a little bit just through texts. But what a brutal situation. For those of you who don't know, TJ is one of the best little kids in the world. At 8 years old to go through what he's gone through in his life and then add this on top of it is just sad. But I know they have such an amazing support system around, and we are all here, for the Olsen family, and I know the entire North Carolina, South Carolina community is as well. Everybody's here for the Olsens, and he's somebody that just exemplifies what it means to be a great player and an even better person off the field. And my thoughts and prayers are with TJ and their whole entire family.
Hey, Christian, sorry to kind of switch avenues now, but I was curious. I know you have your workout in the off season and all that, but I was curious, after all the injuries and everything last year, is there any way you're approaching like team practices and like these OTAs and training camp differently just based on your experience last year?
No, I mean, the last thing you should do, whenever bad stuff happens is overcomplicate and overthink. I've been playing football since I was 7. I've had a lot of success in my career. I've never missed a game in my life until last year, and it just sometimes it happens. You know, it's happened with players that play 25 years in the league. It happens with you know, perennial All-Pro Hall of Fame quarterbacks have missed years. Running backs have you know, torn ligaments and came back and been the MVP of the league. And it's just something that happens that I just think gets talked about a lot because it's something to talk about. But I'm just sticking to my P's and Q's. You know, I know how to play this game at a high level, and I know how to train. I know how to take care of myself. Sometimes you just get unlucky. And, you know, as much as I would have loved to prevent those, sometimes it's hard and sometimes freak stuff happens. But I'm completely moved on to this year. I feel great. My mind's good. My body's even better, and I'm fired up.
How do you do that? How do you not like think about that when you're going back? Is that like something you just push to the side, or obviously because it affected you all year? I know they were a fluke or whatever, but how do you kind of push that to the side?
You just get out there and go. You know, there's no thinking. There's just doing. You know, football to me is it's a meditation. You know, when you're out there, you're not thinking ever. You're just using your God-given talents to be the best player you can be. And the more you think, the worse you play. And so for me, it's just going out there and being mindless and having fun playing football with my teammates.
All right, guys, we're getting tight on time, so we'll do these last two. Mike Solarte, and then finish off with Jonathan Alexander.
Thanks, Ryan. Christian, kind of following on that, did last year and everything that you went through kind of give you a deeper appreciation for how much you love this game? I mean, because it was taken away from you by being unlucky.
Yeah, I've always appreciated the game. I've never taken it for granted or not loved it. But when you don't play and you have to sit back and watch, it definitely gives you an extra fire for sure. You know, there's nothing that I love more than playing football. You know, I believe it's what I was born to do, and it's what I love to do. And not being able to do that's very tough, you know, especially when your mind feels like you can, but your body won't let you. And I feel great now, so I'm so excited for this year, and I know everybody else is. Our team's fired up, and we all feel good, and we're ready to go.
Hey, Christian, hope you're doing well. Glad to see you back. I'm just curious, did you have any thoughts on the change from grass to turf, and what is the difference for a running back?
You know, you can't think about it too much. You know, there's positives and negatives to both. You know, it's not going to affect whether or not we win or lose. I know that, and so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much to me. Turf is faster, you know, and sometimes our grass, you know, as much as guys love grass on the joints and all that, you know, like I said, there's positives and negatives to everything. So for me, it is what it is. I'm going to go out and play fast regardless.
All right, Christian, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that'll conclude availability for today. Really appreciate you guys being out here. If you have any questions, touch base with Bruce or Preston.